Hi, I'm Rachel Olson, founder of Best Mom Products, where mompreneurs share their adventures in business. Today I'm talking with Jennifer MacDonald, the co-founder of McCarran Industries and Zipit Bedding. Jennifer and her sister co-founded the company after having an aha moment at one of her son's sleepover parties. Zipit Bedding is an all-in-one bedding solution made so children can easily make and unmake their own beds. Jennifer shares with us her patent process, her out-of-the-box marketing tactics to define the million-dollar question of who to market to, moms or kids, vision for licensing, and tips for getting your product out there. Welcome, Jennifer. Let's get started. It's great to
Hey.
have you here today. Thanks for doing this interview with Best Mom Products.
Oh, sure. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to get started with Zipit Bedding is just one of the products that you have that we can focus on today. Can you explain to people who don't have a visual of what it is, what your product is and how you came up with the idea?
Sure. It's basically we invented a hybrid of a sleeping bag combined with conventional bedding, so anyone can make and change their bed in seconds by just zipping it. And it came to me years back when I saw my young boys simply zipping up their sleeping bags after a sleepover, and it instantly just came over me, why can't this same concept be applied to conventional bedding? And one after one prototype, I knew I had something. It was easy. It was well received by people that I showed it to, and we just spent the next few years really perfecting it. And now we are where we are today.
Can you talk a little bit about when you had the idea, how did you decide what your design was going to be and your first prototype and then manufacture it?
Well, our prototypes, like I said, we went through several. We finally knew we had it when it was everything. I hate to, it sounds kind of simplistic, but it was when it really was everything we wanted it to be as far as the zippers, the material, the weight of the fill, because it needs to wash as well. It's not like your typical bedding because you don't typically wash your comforter. So it was very hard, and we did have to manufacture in China in order to keep the cost competitive. So once we kind of figured out where we wanted the design as far as the prototype, once that was finalized, then we started working with the prints that we felt that would be the most. We knew we couldn't launch in everything we want. We know you have to walk before you can run. And so we felt like, okay, we're going to choose something that's still fun, but yet people can coordinate with any existing room theme. And so that's how we came up with our first limited edition prints that we have that are in navy and pink.
So you chose for a boy and a girl. Did you find that it sold more for a boy or for a girl, or did that make a difference at all?
I have to say I was shocked. I really thought it would be more for girls, but it really, at the end of the day, ended up being 50-50. So it'll be interesting to see, not to segue for future, but when we have a commercial on TV, I know, for instance, like Pillow Pets and products like that, once they launched, it started out way more of a girl product, or the girls, they seemed to buy more of them, but once it caught on, then it went to 50-50 as well.
You have an advertising background, so can you talk about maybe your vision when you started the company? Did you know, like, you wanted to do commercials, you wanted to be mass market retail? What was your vision?
I think we knew early on, since this was such a demonstrative product, that we had to have a commercial, or else it would just sit on shelves and people would say, why is this different than anything else that's out there? So we knew we wanted that catchy commercial with a jingle, and so the kids are singing it. And I think maybe having the advertising background that I had did help. Just knowing the effectiveness of mass marketing a product versus trying to launch it small, especially with something that's an invention that you have to kind of launch quickly, or else someone else could come right behind you and do the same thing. So
Right, and so you got a patent for this, correct?
correct, yeah, we're still patent pending, but we're hopefully going to be securing the patent in the next month or so.
That's exciting.
Oh,
Congratulations.
fingers crossed. Thank you.
So they haven't come back to you yet and said, this is maybe somebody else has done this somewhere.
Well, they have. I mean, that's what a patent, you file for your patent, and
Right.
within a year you hear, okay, somebody else has done this, but it was in 1962. But yet, just because they didn't get it to market, there still was a patent that was issued. So that's what the patent office is there to protect, is the people who have been issued patents.
Right.
It does help though once when your attorneys then have to go back to your patent examiner arguing, well, this was done back in 1962. So that's kind of, we've gone back and forth with that process for a few years now, and kind of are hoping to the final phase. We've had some arguments of why we should be granted our patent, and so we'll see. But he seems to think it's hopeful.
You have this unique product; it's being patented, so you have some protection, and you're going to market. What are some of the first steps that you took in the go-to-market process?
We're still going to market, so I want to be candid when I would say it's definitely a long process in trying to get your product to market. You needed to be able to test this with real customers, and to do so we had to place an order for what seemed like a lot, but we're sold out. I don't know if we've mentioned that yet, but we placed an order for 1,000 units at our factory, and right after that, we were trying to finagle it so we got it in time for this Zulily launch last February. So that was one stage, and once we use that almost as a large focus group, which I would so recommend to mompreneurs out there that are thinking of getting a product out. I think it's so crucial that you can at least test it on others and real people out there, and maybe that don't live near you, totally different demographics, because your friends and family sometimes they'll say that we love it, and maybe they don't. Maybe the public won't, which we felt like we had something, but at the same time it was so rewarding. I mean, you can look at our website. That's just a handful of some of the feedback and comments we had received from people I didn't even know, which was like truly just such a reward.
I think pretty much probably every person watching this knows what Zulily is, the marketplace where then they discount your products for a period of, I don't know, 3 days or 10 days or a period of time. So what did you learn about your customer at that point doing that focus group that you hadn't known prior to doing that?
People saying that this is something that my kid had slept in a tent for the last year, and this was the one product we've ever found that can get him out of his tent, or something like that. We just never even imagined. Or people that had lived in Virginia, and it was February when we launched, and we got comments that this is so warm. And I was just like, it was great, because I don't want to say that it was all positive, because there were a few things that were more constructive, but it kind of shocked me, because I thought, oh, this is going to be more because it's lightweight, although it was an alternative to down. I was surprised that they said how warm it was and how much they loved the side pockets and things like that. We were on about 40 different mommy blogs when we launched on Zulily, which was, what we did was we had sent out a free sample to the mommy blogger for them to test it and then post reviews on their site. So that was a huge basis of information as far as a focus group for us, because they truly post honest remarks. We signed it right away. This does not all have to be positive, and we said that's fine. The mommy blog campaign that we did early on, that was more of conducting a large focus group again, that was something that I actually thought would have driven a lot more sales. I don't want to say anything against these mommy bloggers, because they definitely did their job in promoting it for us, but I'm not sure if that's the avenue. Just to tell possible mompreneurs out there that are thinking of doing that, you spend money on obviously a product, and then you spend money on shipping, and at the end of the day, I'm not sure how much that it definitely got us feedback from them for our product, and if you want to use it for that, by all means, I would recommend it. But as far as marketing, that was one thing we found out that wasn't that effective.
Being a new company, did you go to a trade show? Did you go that route, like the ABC Kids trade show?
We did, actually. That was our very first way that before we ordered the inventory, that was our very first inkling that we had something. We launched at the ABC, the Kids Fair, America's Family Expo, sponsored by Target and Babies R Us. And that was here in Orange County, California. And we literally just went there. We had a 10 by 10 booth, a bed, and we were playing that commercial that you'll see on our website. And people were flocking to our booth like moths to a flame. And, I had moms telling me, I want one for myself, and we should go on Shark Tank. And I kind of was overwhelmed. We weren't even there to sell our product. We were really there in the very early stages conducting a focus group to see if kids liked it, and if parents would even give it the time of day. And so that was, yeah, we did. But ever since then, we just said, I don't think, not that we won't do trade shows in the future. We always have to keep a presence for buyers and things like that, I'm sure. But as far as selling and trying to do that, that's not our strategy at this time.
But when we talked previously, we talked about your strategy being licensing.
Yes.
So can you talk about that? Because I find it very interesting, your approach compared to, a lot of the people that I speak with, their goal is, either a lifestyle business, small boutiques, or the big mass retail outlets, and licensing is really the bread and butter.
So we want to go that route as opposed to doing it ourselves. I'll just say that. There's two kinds of licensing, and I guess I should touch on this, is licensing your product to a large manufacturer and you receive royalties, which doesn't sound the most appealing because the royalty percentage is going to sounds a lot smaller than if you did it on your own. Unless you have investors or something, you'd really be making 100%. With working with a royalty situation, it's very minimal, but it could be very minimal of millions and millions of dollars that you're really at the same time as well not even on the line for, which to me is very comforting. And you're not spinning your wheels. You're not traveling to factories in China or India. So you're getting to have a little more time. One of the mom invented products, the owner of it, Tamara Monosoff, was the one that gave me that information early on. She said, if you can license your product, that would be my recommendation, just because you get to still have a life.
Okay.
Basically. And then the other kind, just to finish the license, then there's obtaining licenses that you're going to put on your product. And that would be that you pay for those or you give a royalty to obtain those. It's enticing because we had, like I said, with my husband and 3 kids, not that I'm not a mompreneur and I want to be having a day job, because I still feel that I'll be consumed a lot by, I have other products as well. I don't know if I mentioned, but there's other products that we're getting to market. So I'm sure I'll be busy enough with that. And that's just seems to be the way I'd like to go if all goes well.
What do you think, what has been most successful for you? In everything that you've done, what marketing activity, or how did you sell through those 1,000 units if you're not in retail stores?
We actually did a thing where we go into local schools, showing the kids our commercial and send home. We were, like I said, just being resourceful just to try to see what works, because there was a question, is this more of a thing that we need to market to parents or market to children? And that was that was like our $1 million question. And I think we got our answer. That it is really both, but it needs to be a little bit more toyish to market to the kids, where they call it pester power. So the kids go, Mommy, I have to have this. And then the mom goes and shells out the money.
The schools allowed you to come in and show this commercial to a group of kids?
They did. Well, we did it as a program. We did
okay.
To present it as a fundraiser.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it was $5 from every sale.
Okay.
I was so skeptical. Haley's the one that thinks outside the box, my sister and partner. And I was like, there's no way. My older ones go to a public school. I said, it's so regulated. They're never going to let us in. And so we thought of instantly private schools, because they had come from a private school background as well. And I knew people in that school. And I said, how about we do a fundraiser? So the winning class got a pizza party. So then it incented the children, and then it incented the school by making money.
Right, you are so smart. I mean, that's but that's the exact kind of stuff, that's the thinking outside the box that a lot of people wouldn't think of.
Yeah, I would definitely give advice, and if nothing else, to mompreneurs thinking of doing something like that. It gives you feedback right away from kids. If you have a product that's marketed to kids, it was so that was the biggest thing I got out of it, other than we got to sell through inventory, but it definitely gave us our answer that this is a kid's product.
And wrapping up, just a few questions. One would be, what traits do you think it takes to be an entrepreneur?
Perseverance. You just have to believe in your product, have that faith that you can see the end result of if you really believe in your product enough to be willing to go on that journey, which is definitely one that is not the most rewarding day to day, because chances are you're not getting paid for it. You're paying, takes a toll on your family. So it's a personality that I think sees the bigger picture and can still manage their home life or their day to day kind of as best they can, and just trying to keep those plates spinning. And one thing that helps me is I always just try to take a few moments every morning and say, okay, what do I want this day to be? How do I want this day to go? To at least get centered as best as you can. Not that it always goes the way you want it to, but just to try to have that intention to say, okay, this is what I have to do. It also takes a highly, I would say, organized person. And that, I will be honest, is not who I am. And so it would be, if it's not you, find somebody who is these traits as a partner. That I wouldn't have been as far as I am today without my sister being involved, because she's kept me on track. We talked about, I think, a little bit in our last in our phone conversation about how she caught me one day. I was supposed to be working, and she could hear me, and she's like, "Are you doing laundry right now?" And I'm like, "Shoot!" She caught me, and I was supposed to be working. So she always kept me. So I said, on track, or else I probably wouldn't have been this far along.
Right. Oh, that's so sweet. And that's so, I mean, that's just so nice to have that, and also to, yin and yang.
Yes.
And I think any mom out there can relate to doing laundry. I mean, I work out of my house, and it's hard. It's hard not to try. You're like, oh, I'll just throw in a load and do something else. And then,
Yeah.
and it's just, you have all those other responsibilities. So it's
Yeah.
that is something I think we all struggle with. But thank you. I loved it, and really enjoyed. I can't wait to hear what happens in the future.